Welcome back to the Flow Friday Sports Show. Time to resume some cricket chat. And joining me on the line now is Paul Pearce to discuss the latest from Eyre Peninsula cricket. Paul, good to be with you. How are you getting on?
No, pretty well, thanks, Ellis. Everyone's sort of cranking up, getting ready for harvest. And, things are busy, but people are still having a game of cricket. And just while on that, thoughts and everything go out to all the guys all over the rest of the state and Victoria, New South Wales that listen in that have been devastated in the last week with all the storms and everything. So we're thinking of you.
Yeah, we certainly echo those sentiments here in the Flow Media Centre. Paul, could be some humid cricket on the way in the next few weeks, but let's take a look at how the last weekend of action went. So we'll start in Great Flinders. Give us your roundup.
Yeah, so Great Flinders last week, a couple of games down there. Not a huge amount of runs again this week. First game was between Kapini Mount Hope and Cummins. Now, Kapini Mount Hope have been pretty good over the last number of years, but they were dismissed for 92 by Cummins. Old stager Brad Hazelgrove was the mainstay there for the Kapini boys with 28 runs, but Lockie Trelaw, who's as tall as one of those tingle trees in Western Australia, he chimed in with 4 for 11 there, so Big Lockie's bowling pretty well early on for Cummins. And in reply, how's this? Cummins got there, but with 9 wickets down. So very, very close game. 9 for 95, they passed the score. And the youngest of the Modra lads, brothers there, starts with a J. I can't remember his first name, but he made 22 not out. So out of a pretty even scorecard for the Cummins boys, but got there by 1 wicket. So massive win for those guys. They're on the up and they're getting there. So we were behind them last year, but they couldn't quite get there. But backing them in this year. And the second game was between Cockaleachie, last year's premiers, and Yallenda Flat. And Cockaleachie, they can only scrape together 114 runs. Braden Fitzgerald, the best of them, batting down the order, with 25. And so the Yallenda Flat, the Hillbillies, Carson Somerville was the pick of the bowlers. He took 5 for 22. And in reply, Yallenda Flat fell 20 runs short. They can only get 94. You get this Jimmy Bascom made 51 of them, so nearly 2/3 of the score for Big Jim, so well done to him. But our man, favourite of the show from last year, Tom Cretenden from Cockaleachie, was the best of the bowlers. He took 6 for 11. So the Flat Boys not quite there, but Cockaleachie bouncing back from their, less than average start from being last year's premiers. So, yeah, that was Great Flinders cricket for this week.
There we go. We'll move along into Eastern Eyre. Plenty going on there, Paul.
Yeah, plenty going on. The first game was between last year's premiers Cleve and Kimber. And Cleve got a first in that game. They made 8 for 178, which is a pretty good score. Young Lockie Shamrock with 67 for the Bombers there. Kimber, in reply, though, did very, very well and got the runs fairly well with only 4 wickets down. Bailey Clements for 63 and Ben Shipper, another old stager, with 57 for the Kimber boys. So that was a huge win for those guys. The next game was between Cowell and Port Neale. Now, Port Neale must be into an early harvest or something like that down there because they had to forfeit their game, so Cowell took the points pretty easily there. The next game was between Lock and Dark Peak. Lock improving. We made 101 runs with Andy Hetzel making 37 and Zach Meyer only taking 5 for 16 for the Peak boys, and in reply, Dark Peak got their 5 wickets down, passing Lock's score, and Greg Parks and Zach Meyer with the runs there, 28 and 29 in that game. So, Dark Peak going on their merry way. I don't think they've lost a game yet, so they're going very well. And the final game in Eastern Eyre was between Buckleboo and Rudow. Buckleboo batted first and made 8 for 179. Fairly handy score. Joel Fitzgerald with 49. A few familiar names coming through, isn't there? And Rudow, in reply, they could only muster up 84, so they fell well short. And speaking of familiar young names, Shannon Bose Larwood with 6 for 22 for the Buckleboo boys. So ripping effort for them. They're back into some good form there by the look of it. So, that was Eastern Eyre for this week too, Ellis.
There we have it. Transitioning into Leigh Hunt cricket, my favourite competition. Give us the latest from the fallout from the weekend there, Paul.
Well, it wouldn't be Leigh Hunt cricket if I didn't mention this game as being the game of the round, as we do every week. This week's game of the round was between Western Districts and Warramboo. Up at Pootra, the vast expanses of Pootra Oval, Western District 8 for 152, which wasn't a bad score. Pick of the bowlers, Warramboo, was Jake Sampson with 4 for 18, but I want to mention the top score out of that 152 was Extras. Extras came in with 42. 36 wides, one no ball, one leg by, and 5 no balls. So I think the Warramboo boys will be looking to tidy things up next week after that effort. In reply, Warramboo did it on the trot, passing Western District's score, only 2 wickets down. Jake Sampson, after his good effort with the ball, was fantastic with the bat, 88 not out, and he was supported pretty well by Corey Waters with 43. So that's the entire league covered there, and also the game of the round for Lee Hunt this week.
There we go, and we'll switch now to Far West cricket. So, Paul, give us the latest from the Far West comp.
Yeah, round 1 in Far West cricket last week, and things kicked off with Streaky Bay going on their merry way. They had Thevenard come up against them, but Thevenard couldn't razzle enough guys together, so Streaky Bay won that game on a forfeit, unfortunately. So here's hoping Thevenard can get something together this week. The second game was an absolute rip snorters between Smoky Bay and Sejuna. And Smoky Bay batted first, made 9 for 190, which is, I would say, the highest score of the week. But Rowie Chester made 59 and Andrew Miller 42. And for the Sejuna boys, Charlie Williams, fresh off the big jumbo jet, 3 for 23. Great bowling from young Chuckles. So that was a good effort from Smoky Bay. However, Sejuna in reply got the runs, 8 wickets down. So, 2 wicket, very, very narrow victory. 8 for 191, they passed their score. Best of the bat was another young stager by the name of Jamie Bennett. Buff made 85 runs, and he was well supported by Charlie Williams again and Trev Goodwin, who usually bowls, but for some reason made some runs this week. They made 23 each, so a ripping start for the Sejuna boys, so they'll be cock-oop after that. A bit short on numbers, but they managed to build a team, and some young enthusiastic fellas helped them get over the line, so well done to the Eagles there.
Paul, where are you going to be parking yourself on the weekend for some cricket?
I'll probably be in the boom spray, actually. Looking in live on the My Cricket app and seeing what's going on everywhere, as I usually do. So we'll see how that turns out, eh?
Excellent work. Paul Pearce, our correspondent out of the Eyre Peninsula cricket competitions. Paul, great to be with you again on this edition of the Flow Friday Sports Show. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy getting a roundup of all those scores across the weekend, and good luck with harvest. We'll speak to you next week.
No worries at all, Ellis. Thanks very much. Thanks to you listeners. Bye.